Hey everybody.
I'm Mo.
And I'm Katie, and this is
the Mo and Katie Show.
So good to see all of you.
Yay!
We hope you have been enjoying our Correct Me If I'm Wrong segments.
Katie just came up with a great tagline for it.
Yes, hilariously inaccurate.
Yeah, that's
what it is. So we hope you enjoyed soccer last week.
Yeah.
And we've got a new one coming up next week. So,
Yeah.
But it's February.
That's crazy.
It's February.
It is my sister's birthday.
Aw.
Jan.
Happy birthday, Jan.
Also, this is interesting. My friend Beth, it's her birthday as well.
Oh, wow.
And Beth works at the FAA,
Okay.
and my sister used to work at the FAA, and they met at my mom's birthday party years ago. And
At your mom's birthday party, which wasn't their birthday.
And they realized that they had some mutual friends in common from the FAA.
Oh,
my
that's
sister had
really
since
cool.
retired, but Beth still works there. So
Well, happy birthday,
cool.
ladies!
Yeah.
Super cool. So I have to say, Mo, it's. I'm not one to complain, but it's been a disappointing snow January in Maryland this year.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I saw
although
a little bit of flakes, like a couple of weeks ago, week and a half or so ago, we had some flakes that turned into rain, but that's been it. And I'm sad.
Well, here in Millersville, specifically,
Yes.
In our freezer, it needed to be defrosted. So we did get a little bit of precipitation and buildup. Yeah.
And my freezer died, so I don't even know what's happening.
Not just
right
your
now.
freezer, your whole
Our
fridge.
whole fridge died. So R.I.P. Thank you for your service for 16 years refrigerator.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, so a dead refrigerator, lack of snow, and birthdays are all things going on in the world. Moe, tell us what else is going on in the world.
So I want to talk about, I love the story because it's near and dear for a lot of different reasons, but there's a lady named Patrice Travis, and she is a hospice, she works at a hospice, like a caregiving facility, and she also is a volunteer seamstress, so she sews. But one of the things she does is when a loved one passes on, she will reach out to the family and she will make a teddy bear. And she will make a teddy bear for that family. And so that was really cool. So that was one thing my mom used to do is she used to make teddy bears, and they would, they call them the teddy bear ladies. They would all make teddy bears and take it to the hospital for kids that were in the hospital, right?
I love that.
So this one lady, one of the guys, a gentleman died. And so the hospice facility reached out to Mary, who's his widow, and said, "Hey, would you like a teddy bear made in honor, memory of your husband?" And Mary, the widow, said, "I would actually like 6 for the grandkids.
Oh,
so
that's
one,
wonderful.
not 6 each, but one teddy bear for each." And then she also donated his flannel pajamas. And so Patrice made 6 teddy bears with I think they call him pom-pom, with his flannel pajamas. But she also learned a little bit more. Like, one of the things he used to say before he would leave, he would say peace. And so she found a little patch that said peace, and she sewed that onto the bear.
I love that.
She also found that he was a guitar player, and so she put a guitar, some of his old guitar pick holders, and made it like a little pocket on the teddy bear, and put some of his used garage guitar picks. Also put like a little his glasses on there, and she had some extra fabric left over, and so she made a 7th one for the widow. And I just thought that was really neat. And so the grandkids are all like, they take pom-pom with them when they go around places. And then they may like put his glasses and take him around, but they put the glasses back on the bear. But
I love that.
And I love the fact that she's, because I've got a lot of my dad's like old Aloha shirts, and I thought it was really neat that she's using fabric basically that it's not like fabric you buy. It's fabric you're like, what am I going to do with this anyway? And now it gives it a second life. Yeah, and it gets like a sentimental purpose to it.
I love that.
So that was cool.
I know when my Uncle Gary, my mom's brother, passed away, and he was emotionally disabled and just had a real distinct style. He wore flannel shirts. He sat in a rocking chair. And one of the ladies who was associated with the home where he lived made one of his flannel shirts into a pillow for my mom.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
My mom has it on the pocket. There's like a little verse about how, when you miss me, pick up this pillow. So I love when people do that, because you're repurposing, but you're keeping a part of your loved one, with you. So I love that.
And that fabric has meaning. So
I love that.
Thought that's cool.
That's a wonderful
story.
story.
There's a lineup of, we'll show you a picture, a lineup of like just 7 teddy bears. And
that's really cool. So, well, speaking of sewing, speaking of things that are sewn, recently in the UK, there was a bag of clothing donated from Canada. I'm not quite sure how it got from Canada to the UK, but it ended
one
up
of the colonies of the UK.
That's true. It ended up at a thrift store called the Glass Onion, and what they found was this beautiful Native American jacket. And it was very different than all of the other things that were donated. They believe that this jacket is over 170 years old.
Wow.
And it's got this, I'll show you a little picture of it. It's got all this intricate beadwork and these tassels. And they believe that it was made from someone from the Métis or Cree tribe in Canada.
Okay.
But the best part is they're trying to reunite this jacket with whoever made it. So they're doing their research. They're kind of backtracking, trying to figure out where it was donated
Is there
from.
like an Ancestry.com for clothes?
I don't know, but that would be super cool.
Yeah.
So they said, compared to the other 60s and 70s fringe jackets, it definitely stands out and looks different. So they're trying to trace it back to Canada, find someone who is connected with that tribe, and get this jacket back.
That's cool.
To the tribe to whom it belongs.
So is the jacket in Canada or in the UK?
I think
right
it's
now?
still in the UK.
Okay.
And they've tracked it down that it's from either Manitoba, Saskatchewan, or Alberta, which is not a whole lot of narrowing down because those are all pretty big.
Oh,
but they've narrowed it down to
Canada,
to the tribes, and they're trying to find out who has this jacket.
But it's 170 years old. Like they're just trying to find the family members.
Yeah,
of the
trying to
family
find
members
if somebody whose great grandmother or great
So if you are related to the Betsy Ross of Canada, is that? I mean,
sure.
Just flag her down.
Flag her down. Nice. Yeah, it's a nice.
Like she's got
coating of kindness in order. We just want to coat this with kindness. Let's coat. Anyway.
I have a really bad one.
I know you do. I know. So we're going to move on.
It's got the word jacket in there.
I know it does. So we're going to move on to our quirky fact for today, Moe. Okay, now you have to try to guess this, okay? So speaking speaking of large countries and regions, how many time zones do you think Russia has? It's
all of them.
Quirky fact. It has all of
24.
the time zones. So, United States has the 4 ones on the mainland, and then I think Alaska's in its own, Hawaii in its own. Yeah, 4 time zones. Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific.
Good. Oh, it is 4.
And then Alaska and Hawaii, I think, are on their own time zones.
I will contribute to this conversation and say that Newfoundland is a half an hour off.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I've heard that before. So there's another European country that's a half an hour off too. One of my students had traveled there, was telling me.
I think Argentina.
That's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
How many
8.
time zones does Russia have?
8.
Higher.
7.
That's not higher. Today we'll be talking about high numbers and low numbers.
I'm sorry. 8. Opportunity missed. Higher.
Russia has
12.
11
So close.
time zones. That's how big it is. It has 11 different time zones.
Yo mama's so big she got 11 times. I'm sorry.
That's just
Your mama is so big.
That's how things are. Is that it has a
nice. That was the borscht one yet.
You can't be Russian with these puns. You really can't. You have to take your time.
You can nest them inside each other.
Borscht. That was pretty good. So if you go to Russia one end to the other, it's a half day off. So there's that.
Or it's
almost a half day off. She's trying to come up with something. And
no, I'm not. I'm actually trying to do math, which is actually worse than me trying to come up with a pun. I'm just thinking if you go the opposite direction, you
all right.
Go back.
Go ahead and bring us out of this and tell us what today is.
I think the best thing that you could do is talk about this with your dog over a date. When you take your dog out for doggy date night, which is what today is. It's
doggy date night.
I'm sure it's national because I'm sure this is only an American thing, but National Doggy Date Night.
National Doggy Date
Night. I mean, you can.
Where can we take our doggies?
Anywhere you want.
Where are you going to take your doggies, listeners? We need to know this. So, okay, I have a question.
Lady and the Tramp picture.
Little spaghetti action there.
Yeah.
So you have 3 dogs. I have 3 dogs. Does that mean 3 separate dates, one for each dog? Or is this like a group date? All 3 dogs go somewhere. She can't behave today, guys. You don't know the day I've had with this one over here. Just answer my question in a nice, appropriate way, please.
I'm out. Oh, what was the question? I'm sorry.
Can you take all 3 dogs out on the same date, or do you have to take them out on each individual date based on their interests?
By same date, do you mean like I take Dozer out to a movie and dinner, and then I
Yes.
take Blue out to movie and a dinner. The same
Or
movie,
do you
the
take
same
all
restaurant.
three of
Is that what
them
you
out
mean
at
by
the
same
same
date?
time? Do you
Or
take
like same date, like April 25th, a perfect date. Like, I don't know what you mean
all
by...
you need is a light sweater. No, if you take all three of them to like a dog park, is that your dog date? Or do you need to take Dozer to his favorite place and then Blue to his favorite place? Like, how does that work?
Well, I think to be fair to the dog, they are individuals.
That's
you
true.
You can't treat them as
true.
just clump them in and say, you know, we've got 6 kids, so let's just, here, kids, go to McDonald's, play in the balls, and I know you're 30, but...
See, my dogs don't usually go, so they're not terribly social. They're not great with other dogs.
Oh,
I might just set up like the card table and chairs and have them sit in the chairs, and
No,
like
dogs
we'll
playing
have
poker.
a little dogs night in.
Dogs playing Rummy Cube.
That's true.
Yeah, well, I hope you score. Yeah.
So
no.
happy
Happy
date day.
doggy date night day.
We were just talking earlier about how spoiled our dogs are and how we're complaining about how spoiled our dogs are while we're wrapping them up in their
Spoiling
favorite
them.
blanket and giving them a kiss on the nose and being like, oh, you're so spoiled. Here, baby, here's your favorite toy. Like,
Yeah.
that is, especially with Bo. There's something about Bo. That dog has wrapped me around his little paw. I'm telling you.
You'll be
He's so spoiled.
wrapped around his dog paw.
So, in order to take your dogs on a date.
was that like a pun back to the sewing?
Yeah, sure it was. So,
No,
it wasn't.
But you talked about the jacket and you said
That's
people
true.
sew it together.
I'm about
And then I was trying to make it an offensive jacket pun. But you
I
threw
was
me off.
trying to transition into our shared experience today.
Oh.
So what I was going to say is if you're going to take your dogs on a date, it's important that you have a job so you can support your dog's habit of going on a date. So
Once a
today
year.
we're going to talk about jobs.
Okay.
Jobs you've had, jobs maybe you wanted when you were a kid. What was the worst job you had, best job you had, bosses, things like that. So
Okay.
So you can start, because your career, being military career, a
if
little
any
different.
of my former troops are listening, part of that better not be me.
Who was the worst boss you ever had? Well, let me tell you
Barrett.
about this colonel I had. Barrett. So your jobs, have you ever had a job that was not in the military?
I've had, yes, 2
Okay, what are they?
jobs. It's when you go some. Ooh, that was a wicked eye roll. Damn. All right,
So you worked with the Beaver then?
Yeah. Hydroelectric power. Damn. So my first job was when I was in high school, and Lauren Becker, one of my high school friends, got me this job, and it's currently it's across the street from my high school in Fairfax, Virginia, and it's right behind the Einstein Bagels. It's where Total Wine is now, but it used
Okay.
to be a drugstore, and I believe
I didn't know this.
I can't remember the name of but it was like a CVS type thing where I worked in the pharmacy in the back, and I basically
didn't know that.
counted pills, and I remember like using
my
that little
God.
thing and like count pills. But here's what
one in your pocket,
Yeah.
2 in the bottle,
Yeah,
one in your
like,
pocket.
Yes, my prostate has never been healthier. But here's one thing I remember about this is I remember we were standing there with the pharmacist. It was me, Lauren, and the pharmacist, and there was a guy. He was like an aisle 9, and he was like stumbling, and he was in high school, I didn't drink. I didn't hang out with people who drink. So, like, I didn't know what it looked like to be drunk or to be under any kind of influence other than high on life. And so the pharmacist says, okay, this guy who's down there in aisle 9, you can see him. He's going to come up here and he's going to ask for some Tylenol 3 with codeine, which was over the counter, but it was kept behind. You didn't need a prescription for it. But
Some of that stuff you have to show an ID for now. Like
but this is back, in the 1800s. So, and sure enough, this guy stumbled up, and I just remember being so mesmerized that the
my
pharmacist
gosh.
could sit there and he goes, hey, I was wondering if I get some Tylenol 3, and they're like, the one with codeine? Oh, it's got codeine, So, and he's like, but he was like, that's something we had to deal with.
Wow.
Yeah. So I
did
better remember.
not know that.
So
I
that's all
love that we have been best friends for 4 or 5
5
years now. And there's still things I'm finding out about you. I did not know you worked at a drugstore. What was your other non-military job?
When I was going to community college, I worked in the bookstore, and it was the bookstore was instead of being called like the college's bookstore, it was actually called it was a little company called Barnes and Noble.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's where I learned about
that's
ISBNs.
funny.
And, so I worked in the back for the bookstore.
I didn't know that either. Yeah. And then it was all military after that.
Yeah.
All military all the time.
All right, you go.
My first job was at a summer program for intellectually and physically disabled kids.
Okay.
and my I have two cousins that are on the like autism spectrum and intellectually disabled, and they both attended there, so that was kind of cool because I got to see my cousins. But I worked in a classroom with kids of all kinds of ranges of stuff, and it was like intense. It was a lot, and I think it was like 15 that summer, and it was intense. It was called Summer Action, I think. So it was like a daycare respite for families. But we had kids that were that one was not sleepover. But my sister and I used to volunteer at another camp it was similar. But all kinds of like nonverbal, all like Williams syndrome, Downs, like we had all kinds of kids there. So that was like, it was like intense. Now that I think I got bit. I got bit by a kid when I was like 15, I think. Wow. The summer I was 15. Then the summer I graduated, I liked kids, working with kids. So I worked my first that was a real job, but my next job was in a daycare center. Oh, wow. And then I worked daycare. And then when I went to college, I actually worked on campus as well. My sister and I both worked in the music computer center. And they had so what we would do is people would come in and take some of their tests on the computer. It was like really groundbreaking then. This was like 1990, 91. And then we would run things for the music side, and computer notation had just become a thing. So people actually making sheet music
back in then.
Yeah. Wow. Like early stages. But then other than that, then I got married. I worked in daycare again. I did a lot of daycare, and then I had my own daycare.
Well, you homeschooled. Jeez.
Oh, but I also waitressed in college. I waitressed.
Did you really?
I did. I waitressed at two different
places. Are you
places.
one of those waitresses who can like memorize an order and I don't know how people do that.
You know what I liked? Well, I don't think so. I think I had to write things down. But what I liked about it was I liked meeting the people. I liked coming to a table and striking up conversations.
We call that
people.
Crowd work.
We call that crowd
That's
work
what
for
we
us
do.
Extroverts. But I worked third shift at a diner.
What does that mean?
10 p.m. to 6 a.m. at a diner.
Wow.
And after like 2 a.m., the whole diner was smoking. So this dates us too. This is back when restaurants had smoking sections. I wouldn't work the smoking section, but at night at 2 a.m. when the bars closed, the entire restaurant was smoking and was packed at 2 a.m.
Nothing good
and
happens after midnight.
Drunk people are good tippers. And then I worked at another...
Did you serve Tylenol 3 coating?
And then I worked at a little ice cream sandwich shop in Akron also. I didn't like my boss there. I won't say his name, but I didn't like him. He was very picky for no reason. And that's about it. I since then, and then after when I started having kids, then I worked a little more daycare, but then I would do like worship jobs at churches, and I taught school 1 year.
So when did you open your music studio?
I have been teaching music lessons in some way, shape, or form since I was 17.
Wow.
But I have been full-time with my studio like I am now. I went full-time in 2007.
Wow.
So I've been teaching for over 30 years. I've been teaching for over 30 years, but running my studio as my full-time gig since 07.
That's awesome.
And building it up to the grand empire of music that it is now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's fun. I mean, it's almost fun to have a bad job because you have good stories when you have a bad job. Was there any...
thanks to all the bad bosses out there,
everybody.
because you gave us good stories.
So when you were a kid, if someone said, what job do you want to have, or what do you want to be when you grow up, what would you used to say? Like, run the gamut of like all the things you wanted to be.
I'm sure I said the whole sheriff, cowboy,
astronaut, fireman, ballerina.
Nope.
I used to say I'd want to be a ballerina. Never danced a day of ballet in my life. Very glamorous.
Well, her birthday's coming up. If anybody's looking for some lessons.
Some point shoes.
Yeah.
You don't remember you knew you wanted to go in the military, though.
I knew I was going to go into the military, most likely the Air Force, just because my dad had been in it and my brother was in it. Really cool. I don't remember thinking, and that's the one thing is like as a pilot, I wish I had one of those cool stories. I was like, I was laying on my back and watching the plane overhead, and I said to my dad, someday that's going to be me. Did I just touch your shoulder or something else? Okay, I was all lost in my nonfiction story.
It doesn't make it any less appropriate.
Yeah. Was that your dad's shoulder?
Anyway, but do you have a distinct memory though of when, like, consciously thinking when you were young, like, I'm going to be in the military? Or was that just the way it was?
I remember loving to hear my dad's stories. Although I think it's more that he just told the same one over and over again, and we could all tell it because it always ended the same way.
Good story.
But when my brother was at Virginia Tech and he was in the Corps of Cadets, the ROTC program there, I remember just going to see him and going, yeah. And as it was, my brother ended up commissioning me, giving me the oath of office.
So cool.
Yeah.
How old were you when you saw him? Do you know?
probably 8 or 9.
Nice.
One of my favorite pictures is my sister took it from my brother and I were walking ahead of her, and she took this picture. But I had this little lamb, this stuffed animal, and it was like, I think her name was Thelma, but I don't know why I can't recall it because I believe I'm the one who named her that. But I'm holding
and
Thelma.
She got Louise and threw her off a cliff.
Yeah, in a car. But Matchbox car. Just throw it after the fact. Right that, Brad Pitt. So I'm holding Thelma, and I think I'm holding my brother's hand.
Aww.
And he's walking with me, and he's in uniform, and it's just taken from behind us. And I'm like, you can tell, like, I'm trying to match his step. Like, I'm
That's
trying
so
to.
cute.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite pictures.
I love that.
So, yeah.
I love that. I think I liked daycare. I thought at one point I'd want to run my own daycare. My aunt and uncle actually did that in Tennessee. And then of course, like, I want to be a famous singer. But I had no idea what it took to like get to that point.
Oh my God, work. You got to get up before the crack of noon. I mean, come on.
But I think ran the gamut. Like, I want to be a ballerina. I want to be a horse trainer. I want like all the things that kids think are cool. But I think there are some kids that are wired like from the time they're super young. Like, I've met some, like, I've known I want to be a doctor since I was, like, whatever. And then others, like, are still figuring it out, so.
I'm still figuring it out.
So.
That's me.
So you also worked at the Pentagon, which I think is fascinating. I think that's really cool. So what was it like to work at the Pentagon, folks? The Pentagon.
I loved it. I loved...
Which layer were you in? There are 5, right?
Yeah, 5 concentric. We can... You know what? I'm going to save that for that's going to be another good, correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh,
so
sweet.
I'm going to close that.
Did
as
you like
classified.
it? Did you like
Loved it? I loved working at the Pentagon.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's
But we're going to save that for a list. Correct me. That'd be a good
one. Yeah.
So someone write that down. Write that down.
Clearly know nothing about the Pentagon.
Well, yeah.
Military, anything military.
Yeah.
I'm your girl because I don't know anything.
Awesome.
But yeah, so we would love to hear, guys, give us like, what's the weirdest job you've ever had? What's the coolest job?
And Mike Rowe, if you're listening, what's the dirtiest job you've ever had?
Come on, Mike.
Yeah, we want Mike Rowe.
Hook us up.
Yeah.
I was just watching Dirty Jobs the other day.
Yeah.
Love that show.
Love
so
him.
yeah, but and then what's a career that you stumbled into that you never saw yourself doing? Like me, for example, yes, I'm a musician. Never thought in a million years I'd be a piano teacher. And it's kind of a cool story how basically a mom told me, she's like, I want you to give my son piano lessons. And I said, Kathy, I don't teach piano. She's like, yeah, you're going to give him piano lessons. And that was my first piano student.
Man, Kathy's mean. You got mom.
Worked.
The teacher got mom voice.
I got mom
by
voice
Kathy.
by Kathy. So and I'm Facebook friends with that kid now. But yeah, I was basically told, yeah, you're going to teach piano lessons. And here we are all these years later. So.
So one more thing. So another cool story, and I won't say names except for my nieces, but one of Katie's brand new students, 1 week old.
The student's not 1 week old.
The student has been in your studio, has been a student of yours for 1 week now.
Yes.
Used to be nannied by my niece. Like, you talk about small world stuff.
Really
so
cool.
That's really cool.
She was one of our only mutual friends, and I said, just out of curiosity, how do you know Allie? And yeah, she used to be the nanny.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of cool. So it was neat when you had a picture of him and you, and then we got to send it to Allie, and she's like, oh, it's cool. So
I think we are very, very lucky and blessed, Mo, that we both can honestly say we love and loved what we've gotten to do with our careers. And I don't take for granted I can complain about my job with the best of them, but I don't take for granted what I get to do and the influence and impression I get the opportunity to have in students' lives, and that I get to make music all day.
Yeah.
And I know you felt. I asked you once, I said, how do you feel when people say thank you for your service? And you said it didn't feel like it was, a sacrifice because you enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we also want to hear that. Do you love your job, and why do you love your job? So.
And we want to know the people who are doing the thing that they wanted to do since they were
seriously
babies.
All right. So we're going to play a little short game today, Moe. Okay. This is a game about words. And I have found some words in the English language that have opposite meanings to them. So I'm going to give you the 2 definitions, and I want to see if you can come up with the word. Play along at home, yell loudly at your, podcast. Okay, so for example, what is a statement of contrition for an action or a defense of one? So this word means both.
I'm defending it.
A statement of contrition.
I don't know what contrition is.
Admitting. Sorry, being sorry. And it also means a defense of something.
Like admit, like...
So when you defend something, or if you're showing that you're sorry. Would you like the first letter?
Yes.
Starts with an A.
Abscond.
No.
Give me the two definitions again.
A defense of something.
I'm defending something.
Mm-hmm. Or a statement of contrition, a statement of being sorry.
Apologetic?
Yeah, apology. Good. So apologetics is when you defend something. You know the details of it and you defend it. Apology is when you're sorry for something. Okay? Okay, this word means to secure or to flee. Opposites. To secure or to flee.
Retreat.
To secure, like a door.
Yeah.
Or to flee.
Brace.
Starts with a B.
Bolt.
Yes!
Nice.
Good job. Now, I have not looked at the bottom of this list, so go ahead and read me one like from the bottom.
Okay.
Okay? Just give me the definitions.
Oh. To withstand or to wear away.
Okay, erode would be to wear away. No. Withstand. Endure. What does it start with?
W.
Withstand or to wear away. Wither. With
Close. But no.
weather.
Yes.
Weather.
Yes.
Yay.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. To approve or to boycott.
To approve or to boycott. What does it start with?
S.
To approve.
Or to boycott.
Succeed. No. Surrender. No, I don't know.
Sanction.
Oh, okay. Those are very smart things.
I moved the picture up
Thank
so I
you.
couldn't see the other ones.
Okay. This one is to adhere or to separate. Starts with a C. To adhere
or separate.
or to separate.
Cut.
No.
To separate. Cleavage.
Yeah.
Cleave.
Yes, that's it.
Adhere means cleave?
To cleave. To cleave to someone.
I don't think that's
Okay.
right.
All right. This one starts with a B. Heading to a destination or restrained from movement.
Bound.
Yes.
Nice.
Very good. You can go back from the bottom if you
Okay.
want. A couple more.
A person of the nobility or an equal. Person of nobility. An equal.
A peer?
Yep.
Oh, peer's a person of nobility?
According to this picture. Okay. This word means remained, or it also means departed.
It means remained or departed.
Mm-hmm.
Remained.
Or departed.
What does it start with?
L.
Linger. No. Linger doesn't mean to depart. Leave. Lengthen. I don't know.
Well, it's not a long L, so it's just left. Or left. All right, last one.
All right, last one. To add fine particles or to remove them.
Substrate.
No, it starts with a D. To add fine particles or
Dust.
to remove. Yes, good. So you dust something with powdered sugar, or you dust the table and remove
That's
all
crazy.
the dust.
So what are these things called?
They are called
Homonyms?
contronyms. Single words that have two contradictory meanings. They are known. They are their own opposites, and there are 10 of these contronyms.
Webster. That's just lazy.
So another one. The only one that we didn't do is the word fast means quick or stuck or made stable, held fast.
It also means hungry.
So speaking of hungry, I think we'll use that as our cue.
As our soundbite. Get it?
Our sound BYTE or
Yes.
okay. All right. So I have a quote today from Ariana Huffington. I know that name, Huffington Post kind of thing.
Yeah.
Living in a state of gratitude is the gateway to grace.
Is that one of the 50 states?
What time zone? It has 11 time zones.
Yeah.
Living in a state of gratitude is the gateway to grace.
I like that.
I do too.
Cool.
And you know what? I like you. And I like our listeners. And I like that we get to do this.
Ding!
Thanks for listening today, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for... Don't forget to let us know about your jobs.
Yes.
And I want to meet the people who are doing the thing that they always wanted to do.
Yes.
Besides us. And then in the meantime, I'll see be grateful, keep laughing, and stay positive.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.